For 5 years, the bright red Ferrari sat untouched inside the private showroom of billionaire CEO Isabella Brooks. The rare supercar had become an expensive sculpture after dozens of world-famous engineers failed to repair its mysterious engine problem. Every attempt ended in frustration, excuses, and another enormous repair bill. Experts flew in from Italy, Germany, Japan, and the United States. Some replaced expensive components, while others completely rebuilt the engine. Isabella spent more than $2 million searching for answers. Yet every mechanic eventually admitted defeat. The Ferrari refused to start, as though guarding an impossible secret forever. Isabella grew tired of empty promises. During a company anniversary celebration, she made an unusual announcement before hundreds of employees. Anyone who can make this Ferrari run again will receive $100,000. Laughter spread through the ballroom because everyone knew even elite engineers had already failed. Near the back of the hall stood Daniel Reed, a quiet 50-year-old janitor who cleaned offices every evening after everyone else had gone home. He lowered his eyes, hoping nobody noticed him. Few employees knew that before tragedy changed his life, Daniel had built racing engines. As executives joked about the impossible challenge, Daniel quietly raised his hand. The room became silent before bursting into laughter. One manager whispered loudly, "The janitor thinks he can succeed where million-dollar specialists failed." Isabella folded her arms with an amused smile and invited him to explain himself. Daniel spoke calmly without embarrassment. "I'm not asking you to believe me. Just allow me one afternoon with the car. If I fail, nothing changes." His confidence wasn't loud or arrogant. It came from years of experience hidden beneath a faded maintenance uniform and worn work boots. Curious more than hopeful, Isabella accepted. "You have exactly 4 hours tomorrow. No expensive replacement parts. No outside assistance." Daniel nodded respectfully. "That's all I need." Many executives exchanged mocking smiles, convinced the challenge would provide entertainment rather than results. Daniel simply returned to his cleaning duties without complaint. The next morning, Daniel entered the spotless showroom, carrying only a small metal toolbox. Instead of immediately opening the engine, he slowly walked around the Ferrari several times. He listened carefully, touched different panels gently, and studied every repair record stacked beside the vehicle. Observation came before action. He spent nearly an hour reading reports written by famous engineers. Every document focused on replacing sophisticated electronic systems. Daniel quietly smiled. "Everyone searched for complicated answers," he murmured. "Sometimes machines fail because of simple truths." A curious security guard watched every movement with growing interest from nearby. Daniel finally opened the engine compartment. Rather than removing expensive components, he examined tiny connections hidden beneath protective covers. Dust patterns revealed something unusual. One rarely inspected bracket showed slight discoloration from years of vibration. He carefully loosened several bolts before reaching a forgotten electrical grounding point. The metal surface beneath the grounding cable carried invisible corrosion. It wasn't dramatic enough to attract attention during normal inspections, yet sufficient to interrupt critical communication between the engine's electronic systems. Daniel cleaned the contact carefully, using simple tools from his worn toolbox before securing everything firmly again. He turned the ignition once. Silence filled the showroom. Several executives smirked confidently. Daniel adjusted one final connection, closed his eyes briefly, and turned the key again. The Ferrari suddenly roared to life with a powerful growl echoing throughout the building. Everyone froze in complete disbelief before cheering loudly. Employees rushed into the showroom as the magnificent engine settled into a perfect idle. Isabella stood speechless beside the car she believed would never move again. She slowly walked toward Daniel. "How?" she whispered. Daniel smiled gently. The engine wasn't broken. It simply couldn't trust its own connection. Engineers quickly examined Daniel's repair and confirmed his diagnosis. Years of microscopic corrosion had interrupted the grounding circuit. Every expensive replacement ignored the original cause. Millions had been wasted chasing symptoms instead of understanding the machine itself. Daniel's patience had solved what money alone never could. Isabella insisted Daniel drive the Ferrari outside. He hesitated before carefully sliding into the driver's seat. The engine responded perfectly as the supercar rolled across the courtyard for the first time in 5 years. Employees applauded while smartphones recorded the unforgettable moment from every possible angle. After parking, Daniel quietly handed Isabella the keys. "Your Ferrari belongs with its owner." She accepted them slowly before asking, "Why are you working as a janitor if you're capable of this?" Daniel looked toward the distant mountains before answering with quiet honesty and visible sadness. "Years ago, I owned a respected performance garage," he explained. "Then my wife became seriously ill. I sold everything for her medical treatment." His voice paused briefly. "I lost the business anyway, and eventually I lost her too." Silence replaced celebration throughout the crowded courtyard. Nobody laughed anymore. Executives who had mocked Daniel earlier lowered their heads with embarrassment. Isabella realized extraordinary talent often hides behind ordinary uniforms because life rarely follows predictable plans. Success could disappear overnight, but dignity survived through humility, perseverance, and quiet determination, despite unimaginable personal loss and hardship. Keeping her promise, Isabella offered Daniel the $100,000 reward immediately. He accepted gratefully, but surprised everyone by saying, "Half should go towards scholarships for young mechanics who cannot afford technical education." His generosity impressed the crowd even more than repairing the impossible Ferrari itself. Isabella wasn't finished. She invited Daniel into her office, overlooking the city skyline. "I don't need another engineer," she said. "I need someone who reminds this company that wisdom matters more than titles." Daniel listened quietly, uncertain where the conversation might lead next, with cautious optimism. She offered him leadership of a new technical training center where experienced professionals would mentor young apprentices using practical skills instead of expensive assumptions. Daniel accepted after one important condition. "Every student deserves respect, regardless of background." Isabella smiled warmly. "That's exactly why you're the right person." Construction began within months. The training center welcomed students from struggling families, experienced workers seeking second careers, and veterans rebuilding their lives. Daniel taught every class personally during the first year, emphasizing observation, patience, honesty, and understanding before replacing parts. His lessons inspired hundreds of future technicians. The once-forgotten janitor became one of the company's most respected leaders. Employees who previously walked past him without greeting now stopped to ask questions and seek advice. Daniel treated everyone exactly the same as before, proving genuine character never changes simply because circumstances improve or recognition finally arrives. One afternoon, Isabella drove the restored Ferrari onto the training grounds. She handed Daniel the keys with a smile. "Take the first lap." He shook his head gently. "No," he replied. "The first lap belongs to my students. They're the future." Their excited cheers filled the entire track. As the Ferrari raced around the circuit, driven by grateful young apprentices, Isabella quietly reflected on the lesson hidden beneath 5 years of failure. The world's greatest experts had overlooked what one humble janitor discovered. Sometimes the person everyone ignores is carrying the answer everyone desperately needs.